Hey guys, Southern Comfort here. We're into the kitchen and we are canning Yukon Gold potatoes. Potatoes that we have grown into the garden. Today we're going to be using an electric canner, but then later on as we get some potatoes ready, prepared for canning, we'll be using our all-American canner here. Now doing these potatoes, I have done sweet potatoes, tons of potatoes, but I love this little gadget right here. It's an 1800 cheese cutter, and I use it as a potato cutter, and I got it at a Homestead conference, and it's been well worth the money. A subscriber said that, you know, when I posted a video about this, or I think it was on the sweet potato video, she came up with the idea about using a paper cutter, and I thought, man, that is super fantastic. So that was a fantastic idea. But we've got our potatoes already cut up using that cheese cutter, and all I do, I'm not really concerned about the size. I don't really pay attention to the size, but I kind of do. I kind of get them in sort of big chunks, and the reason of that is because I find out sometimes when you're canning, or you know, like you cook potatoes and they can get really soft or mushy. Now you could take these and make mashed potatoes, but I like to not take my potatoes and put them in a pot, as the USDA says, and boil them for 10 minutes. When I do that, and I have done that, and I did a video on that, I think I boiled them for like 2 or 3 minutes, no longer than 3 minutes. But these have not been boiled, and like I said, I have canned tons of potatoes, so I don't go to that measurement anymore. I just cut my potatoes up, and I place them into the jar one at a time. If I do that, usually they will situate themselves into the jar by themselves, and I don't have to take my debubbler and move them around. Sometimes I will shake the jar and it moves around. Now, one of the things that I've been testing it out, and it's been working really well with the sweet potatoes and now the Yukon Golds, or you just say regular potatoes. I'm trying to get some potatoes in here and show you what I started doing. So I don't fill my potatoes up way up there. I try to keep them down a little bit below, down here, and I'm gonna fill my water up to this rim right here. And we see that there's gaps in there. I don't know if you could tell, but there is gaps in there. And the thing that I'm not going to do is I am not going to debubble. I am big on debubbling. When it comes to sweet potatoes and regular potatoes, it's hard to get down in there. And so what I've been doing is not debubbling, and it's worked out fantastic. I use my kettle here. This is how I start doing all my canning, is that I use a kettle because it's fast, it's easy. I'm on well water, so the water might look a little bit darker. It's been heated up. I used to put the water on the stove. I used to have the lids on the stoves, ring on the stoves. I used to debubble. Oh, what else did I do? I mean, I got videos on it. I did the whole 9 yards, but I've canned a lot. And so now I find out I can cut some steps and have no problems. And this will be good for those that are inexperienced canners and want to learn how to can, and say you're unsure and you forgot a step. Don't sweat it. So we see that our water's in here. I used to always heat up my jars. Now I still heat up my jars at times into the electric canner, but today I'm not. So with putting this water in here from the kettle, now I can get as hot as I want to. If I get too hot, I can't touch this jar. So what that's going to do is it heats up this jar. It's heating up the potatoes. And my next step, watch this. I'm not going to debubble. I'm going to take my paper towel over here, that's in vinegar, and I'm just going to wipe the top of it off. And then I'm going to put the lid and the ring on. Now, they say finger tight, but everybody's strength is different. That's what I always say. I mean, the cookbooks say finger tight. Well, everybody's hand strength is different, but my USDA books that my grandmother had, and my mother used, and I've used, it says in bold parentheses, firmly tight. So this is not like over tightened, it's firmly tight. So we'll put this into the electric canner. The canner over there is warming up, but once again, we let these potatoes fall into this jar one by one, and they will situate themselves just where they need to go. And if not, then I can take my debubble right here and move it around or shake the jar. The key is, and I do cut some of these cut a little bit smaller so that I can get them in places. The key is try not to overfill your jar. You can move the potatoes around, but not overfill it. And I've got also 1 teaspoon of salt, or canning salt. You can use plain salt, but I already go ahead and put my salt into my jar so I won't forget it. Because I'm very bad about forgetting it. Did I put it in there or did I not put it in there? So you know what? I have a pattern here, and I put my salt into my jars before I start filling. So it looks like we can get a small one there. We grab a hold of a smaller one, set it right there, stopping our filling of our jars. Around it, just kind of got like a little oval shape right there. That's where I stop at. I try to stop round in there, and once again, I'm gonna fill my jar up with hot water up to there. Now that's giving plenty of space in there. We do see the room in there. I hadn't had any problem whatsoever of it, you know, not having enough water or fluid or whatever you want to call it. I call it water into the jars. We see that it did drop some. Let me show you another one. So we see these jars that haven't been debubbled, and look where the water level is sitting at. Plenty of room in there. Potatoes had enough room in there to move around and process really good. The same as with this one. All of them look really good. And the same with my sweet potatoes. So we look at our jar and say, you know what, if I had a smaller one, maybe I could stick a smaller one in there. I just don't want to get it too close to the top. And the reason of that is that when it does process, when it is processing, some of the water will seam out. It'll come out while it's processing. And so we want to make sure we got enough water in there, but not too many potatoes in there. So when it does that, when some of this water comes out while it's processing, then we'll have enough water in here to cover our potatoes. Because what happens is that later on, the potatoes, with the potatoes sticking out, they'll start decoloring a little bit. And which is nothing wrong with them. They cook just fine. They just don't look pretty, as I say. But I find out I've got plenty of room in there. My potatoes will move around in there. They're not packed in there. And everything worked out great. So we'll take our, it's my camera going off over there saying it's ready. We're going to fill it up, skipping the step of debubbling because there's so much room in there. We put the water in there. We're not going to overdouse it, like, you know, pour it in there real fast. Just kind of pour it in there. We're going to take our paper towel with vinegar, wipe the top of it off. Now you can use water. I prefer vinegar 99.9% of the time because it cleans the top of the jar. The jars are clean, but it cleans the top of the jar. And I kind of swear it kind of takes these lids here and the gaskets on there and makes it seal better. So once again, we'll put our lid and our ring on there. Let me get this on there. Also, make sure to check the top of your jars. Make sure there's not a chip or crack there because that's going to create it not to seal. You don't want that. It could even bust into the canner. So now these two are ready. Those two have been cooked, then processed, and these two, no, excuse me, straight now. So I won't mix it up. That's kind of obvious. These are too warm. These two are ready for the electric canner. Now what we'll do, we'll process these for 40 minutes. That's it, 40 minutes, and then you will have canned potatoes. I thank you for watching. I thank you for all my subscribers. I want a thumbs up. If you got any comments, leave a comment below and I'll get right back to you. See you on to the next video. So, going back to canning, we are late into the season. I put my potatoes into the refrigerator. I don't wash the dirt off of them. I just put them in the refrigerator. I got separate refrigerators that I keep my vegetables, and that creates me to be able to put them aside and be able to work on something else and then get to them later into the season. So this is our electric canner. It holds 5 quarts in here, and it does do pints, and you also can water bath canning, but I have it all set on to pressure canning. So right now it is heating up. We've got it already set for 40 minutes, and we're just waiting for this thing to beep to put the regulator on. Once we put the regulator on, we don't have to do anything else. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. If you're new to canning, you might want to consider one of these. They cost just as much as any other canner, but I really do like this one because once it gets to this stage, and I stay right at it and I listen for that beep, but once this regulator goes on, I don't have to watch it like the All-American or my Presto canner. Those you have to watch because it has a dial onto it, but this right here, it does it by itself. And then once it starts regulating, it will start counting down the minutes as far as the processing time. And then after that, once it's finished processing, it will beep a couple of times, and then it'll start saying cool, or it says cool, and it just slowly, gradually cools down. You still don't have to do anything, and when it's done, it says it's done. Simple and easy. "40 minutes. It's canning for 40 minutes. Countdown time."